Terrence Orr, Artistic Director of Pittsburgh Ballet Theater.
Thank you.
If we were to dance a mile in your ballet shoes, what would the typical day be like for you?
Well, this morning and most of this last couple of weeks, I've been starting about 7:30 in the morning. I'm doing casting for 24 performances that takes about 210 costumes and roles, about 190 people.
You have had an illustrious career in ballet. Where did it begin for you?
Well, back in prehistoric time, a very long time ago.
Yeah. Dancing with Dinosaurs. Yeah.
That's right.
A new show coming up, by the way.
Right. I was in California, and I grew up in the countryside, actually. And I was in school. I was big in sports, but I was not big enough to do sports. And some reason, I don't know why, but I wanted to take acrobatics. So I went over to a place to take class, and the teacher didn't have any beginning classes. So he said, if you take a ballet class for about a month, then I'll switch you over. And I promptly said, thank you very much, and I left. And he came out, he said, come back next year, and I did. And he was ready for me the next year and put me behind this beautiful girl and said, warm up here and then we'll get to the acrobatics class. I never did get one lesson of acrobatics. And this is like, 50 years later.
Wow. Well, do you feel that the art of ballet has changed during your career?
Definitely. When you think about the kind of ballets that were going on in the 40s were the things that I was learning back in the 60s and 70s, and then the real insurgence of some new ballets started in that 60s and 70s period, and also the defection of some major dancers from Russia coming over to America, and New York being the hub of dance, the dance center of the world. And so it was a very exciting time.
What defines a successful career in ballet?
Wow. I'm not sure how to answer that these days because I think that's changed. I mean, I think I would have said back in my day when there was really only San Francisco Ballet, New York City Ballet, and American Ballet Theater in the United States, that if you were in one of those companies, and especially at that time, either New York City Ballet or American Ballet Theater, and you got into the company, you were having a successful career. I don't think it's like that anymore. I think it's changed a lot because I think a lot of major cities across the country have a really good dance company. And if you're able to get into a dance company these days, I think you're having a very successful career. I mean, in the first place, it takes you longer to become a professional ballet dancer than it does to go to school and become a doctor. And then you have your career, basically, it goes from a time maybe when you're 21. Let's take an average. It could be a little bit younger, but you're gonna start learning dance when you're maybe 6, and you're gonna go until 20. So that's 14 years of studying, and really intensive over the last 8 years for sure, in order to be a professional. And then 20 to 30 is the main range. Principal dancers' syllabus lasts longer. I don't know if that's just because of facility, but usually at a certain time, and it's different for everybody. I mean, certainly some people will be able to go on and dance into their 50s, but not really very often. Usually not even into the 40s too far, depending upon the talent. And the more talented, yes, the farther they can go.
Do you still get out there and?
Oh, no. I actually stopped dancing when I was like 33. Because I was a ballet master for American Ballet Theater at the same time. And I wasn't getting rehearsed. I was rehearsing other people over an 8-week period. I only had 3 hours of rehearsal where somebody took my rehearsal. And I wasn't prepared and ready to go into the Met. And I went up to the director and I said, Lucia, I'd rather not dance at the Met this year because I'm just doing so much as a ballet master. She says, oh no, dear. You're too valuable to us right now. And she had a contract on me, and she didn't give up anything. And so I danced that year, and then I retired from dancing. So one of my good friends said, you have to get up and make sure that you're still going to be physical. So he decided that I should learn how to fence. And so I did. I learned how to fence. It took me about a couple of years, and I had a great time doing that. And because of it, I got into doing fencing exercises and choreography for ballet. And I redid the fights for Sir Kenneth Macmillan's Romeo and Juliet, and it was kind of fun to be able to do something like that.
The current project here at Pittsburgh Ballet Theater, gearing up for the Nutcracker, which is not only a Christmas classic, but certainly a Pittsburgh staple for the holiday season.
Well, I choreographed this about 12 years ago, and it took me about 3 years to put it together as a concept. And I wanted to make it much more interesting than I'd seen. I went across the country and looked at probably 20 different versions, and just didn't care for them. I thought that they were oh-hum, and there wasn't enough reason for them. People were just coming to see the Nutcracker because it was a tradition. And I wanted to make it for different generations, to have an interest for young children. I wanted to find a way that would entice them all the way through the ballet. All of a sudden there'd be something for them. There'd be something for young adults to be interested in, and something for the grandparents to be interested in. And so I put different kinds of levels of interest into it. I mean, and I really mean every minute there's something up there for somebody to look at and go, wow, okay, I got that. To see a thread, lots of magic. I have lots, I love magic myself, and so I wanted to make Drosselmeyer very powerful. I wanted him not to be ugly with a patch like Mr. Balanchine did, because the curse to me was not on Drosselmeyer, the curse was on the nephew. And to be able to have him be magical, powerful, and fairly good looking, so that people were drawn to Drosselmeyer. And every year I get this from people who come every year, and sometimes even more than once in a year, and they go, oh, I love all the new things you did to it this year. And I'm going like, okay, which might they be? Because I find that they say that, but sometimes they just haven't seen some things yet.
So it's worth seeing again and again. But the cast for this must be incredible.
Well, altogether, there's over 200 in the cast.
Wow.
That do the performance. I think there's 210 costumes for the roles in the production. I've never counted them. I've only been told this, and I know it's big.
And when you step back, it looks like it's 200, maybe.
Well, I had to choreograph it also. It took a while for me to do, you know.
With this particular production of Nutcracker, there is an autism-friendly performance.
Yes.
So what is actually an autism-friendly performance?
Well, we'll make some changes in it, and we'll probably even make more changes that we're not quite sure of yet, but we'll have the lights up out in front so that it's not dark and scary. We'll change some light cues on the stage. We'll change some sound cues, maybe sound levels, where, you know, the ushers are educated on the fact that if a child wants to get up and run someplace, because that's what they want to, we're letting them do that, you know, and the parents watch and what they want to do, you know, what they want their child to do. So it's going to be, there'll be quite a few changes in it. It's going to be very interesting, and I think it's very, very important. We're going to be the first ballet company to do an autism-friendly Nutcracker, and
Fantastic.
I think that's pretty awesome.
Have you seen the movie Black Swan? Now, might you consider me for a non-dancing role in this, or even is
What
there?
about the King Rat?
Oh yeah. Do that.
There's a masterful
Hey,
role.
if it's one of those clothes horse roles where I can just walk out and
Well,
you
you got to walk out. You're going to be about 20 feet in the air, you know, in a big major costume on and swinging a big sword. So. Make you a little nervous, stepping down those stairs and coming off these giant
have
books.
a BURGH VIVANT Martini. I'll be okay.
There you
Hook
go.
me up. Let's fly. Let's
you
go.
go.
That's it. And I mean, the
You might
cat,
need 2 martinis to do that. So.
consider it done.
They didn't get bored, you know, in the second act. All of a sudden, the Waltz of Flowers goes for too long, and the potatoes started, and they go, "Mommy, I want some candy," and you hear all this stuff. And,
That's the
I gotta
end.
go to the bathroom.
When
and
they
all that
start
stuff.
opening candy,
Right.
forget
And
it.
so- So if I down this martini right away, we can just get another one. no
Right,
problem.
we can have my
Editing.
stage manager refill and, you know, edit.
We need a bigger budget than I thought.
Yeah, we
Okay.
need a bigger glass.